think the one thing I'd like for you to take away from anything that I say today is this one point, that nothing in this world works the way you think it does. Nothing. The police aren't who you think they are. I think the one thing I'd like for you to take away from anything that I say today is this one point, that nothing in this world works the way you think it does. Nothing. one thing I'd like for you to take away from anything that I said today is this one point, that nothing in this world works the way you think it does. Nothing. The police aren't who you think they are.
Sexual strategy is accomplished. She has the best guy to herself, right? At least providing security. With the guy, though, he's not fulfilling his sexual need, which is, I want to have sex with as many women as possible, right? That's what guys want. Men want variety. I don't care what any girl says. You take the most attractive woman, he's still going to want more girls. You look at a music video, there's a reason why they have girls of different colors, shapes, and sizes. Men want sexual abundance. That is their innate need. So my thing is this. If woman gets the best guy that she can get and her sexual strategy accomplished, why is it that we shun guys from going ahead and wanting to have their sexual strategy accomplished and having multiple women? And of course, if they participate in a safe way, the girl is still taken care of, whatever. I don't see an issue with it.
I don't think there's no way. I don't think there's any way that would ever be stable in the long run. Maybe you can find like if you've got like an extremely high status guy and he's dating down far in like status of woman, I think maybe you can do it. But like
for sure,
because if we want to talk biology, right, you might argue that the woman is looking for the one alpha male, blah, 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 blah. But if that woman is playing to her strengths, right, and she's got a guy and they're together as they get older and older, well, why would a 30-year-old woman be comfortable with her 35-year-old husband banging 21-year-old supermodels?
I'll tell you
She's not gonna, no shot. She would be threatened every single fucking day of her life.
But here's the thing. What that does is that threat makes you more, number one, it makes you more attractive, which keeps you in the leverage position in the relationship. Because I argue that the guy always has to have leverage in a relationship. That's the only way that women actually stay loyal. Yeah, but the problem is if in these types, if we're going to talk about the really big like evo psych sexual dynamics, sure,
the woman, if I don't believe this, but if we go to that area, the woman has lost the ability to compete once she's 29, 30 years old. She's done.
Fair enough.
So like, why would that woman ever be okay with her husband fucking women that are younger than her that she will never be able to compete against? Yeah, okay. What do we got?
It's on the woman to have a child with that man. That is the key. She needs to give him children because at that point, now he understands I have a kid with this woman. I must now deal with, obviously, this is the mother of my children. This is why it's so important for the man to be on his shit and the girl pick the right guy that's on his shit. Because if she has kids with him, there ain't going back. That's her insurance policy.
There is. One, we have more broken families in the United States than at any point in fucking history of the U.S. So guys can leave. And then two, depending on the type of girl you run into, the money.
Destiny, men only initiate about 20% of the divorces. It's the women. There's a reason why the phrase.
We're not talking about divorces, though. We're talking about fatherless children. You don't have to be married to have a child. And I'm willing to bet that if we look at, like, say, black communities where there's a lot of fatherless children, I doubt these people were married before they had kids, right? It's easy for the father to walk away, and a lot of times not even pay fucking child support.
No, and that's a good point. But that's why it's incumbent upon the woman to number one, lock that security down, and then number two, have children with that man.
Yo, Destiny really kind of
again,
destroyed these
me
boys.
giving this advice to women is obviously going to put men in a more vulnerable position. When you give advice to one gender, you inevitably put the other one in a bad position. But my thing is, if you marry the man and you have children with that man, he's going to be far more likely to provide you that security while simultaneously he can fuck other girls. And I think also it's on the, like, my thing is the performance goes on the woman when it comes to having the relationship. It's her job to keep the guy and add value to his life even as she gets older. Okay,
she can do that, but how can she add that value if you guys are saying things like you don't necessarily support like the girl bossing, you don't necessarily support them like being the more masculine relationship, like aside from being young and hot, like what is the value in your world? I'm curious, like in your world, what is the value that a 30-year-old woman can add to the relationship besides already having had a kid?
The spiritual balance.
So for me, I won't say, because I'm taking myself out of the conversation, but what I'm saying in general,
when I say you, I just mean your ideology, not for you.
So in general, like what I always tell girls, right, when I give them advice, they ask this, how do I keep a guy that I like or whatever, especially in a situation where you have a variable of like other women. Well, you need to become an indispensable component in that man's toolkit. And what I mean by that is every man is different. So some guys want a hot coffee as soon as they wake up, meals ready to go, clothes ironed, the children are ready to go into school. Some guys might say, yo, I need you to check my emails, be my assistant. Some other guys may need a girl to be a handy woman helping them out with the car, whatever it may be. Every guy has a weak point, and it's on the girl to find that weak point, identify it, come up with a solution, and help that man go from 100% to 100, 100, 200, 300, 400, because that's going to make him the best version. So my thing is this. For a woman to be able to circumvent, a guy having an open relationship where she's closed on her end, get the marriage, get the ring, get the kids, he's going to be far less likely to divorce you and or leave you, because men rarely break up on relationships anyway. And then if he does, there's going to be some serious penalties, which is why the divorce courts the family courts are in the way that they do to prevent that very thing we're talking about.
Although I will say we're talking about, I think one problem you have is I think you're bringing some general things like men are less likely to end relationships, et cetera. That's probably true in the aggregate. We look at all the people. But when we're talking about one man that can juggle multiple women, we're selecting for a top, to use your word, hypergamous, right? Would the man be hypergamous on that, or would you?
No, it's typically for females. But you're talking about a higher status.
You're talking about like and these are the guys that can easily step out of the relationship, right? And even if you look at the status afterwards, like let's say 35-year-old man, 29-year-old woman, and then they have one or two kids. Who's better in the separation there, right? The man is just growing and growing and growing and growing in value. The woman is fucked. Her life is over.
That is true.
I just can't imagine, and maybe it does happen more than I know. I just don't know those friends. I just can't imagine that woman who is in your world, to use your guys' terms, or maybe you don't use it, but like who is hitting the wall and now who's locked down with one or two kids, being like, all right, like I'm chill with you going to fuck like the 22-year-old chick from work. But I don't think you'll leave me because I make you coffee every morning.
Well, it's not about that. Remember, she got what she wanted, which is the security. A man can love his wife or his main girl and have sex with other women. It's possible. You know what I mean? It's 100% possible. And a lot of guys do it anyway. It's just that they're not honest with their girl. So my thing is this. The biggest takeaway from this is that most guys can't execute this. And I agree with you on that. Most guys can't do it, but can they, they can't pull it off because they don't have the value to demand that type of stress from their girl. Because let's be honest, it is going to be stressful. Most guys don't have the value to be able to demand it. But are men capable of doing it? Absolutely. My issue is that women are not capable of doing it. If a woman is in an open relationship with you, the guy is deficient to some degree.
There we go.
Okay, I'll agree to disagree on you, because I think we're going to circle the drain on this one. But
yeah. Okay. I mean, that's how I look at it. Like, because when we've interviewed girls, like, and we say, hey, like, when you're with a guy that you like really admire and respect, they're like, what are your thoughts? Oh yeah, I don't see anybody else. Like he's my guy. But with a guy, you could be full, but you're always going to look at the menu. Like men are always going to look to other women.
Man, but I mean, earlier we just acknowledged women are on some crazy shit when it comes to societal pressure and the answers given that they think they need to give. I don't know if I buy that. They're like, oh yeah, that's my man. I don't look at any other person. Bullshit. I don't think that's true. I'll meet you and I'll say that like
you're not gonna have
generally, generally sex is like a more emotional experience, usually for women.
I think I'm 35 fucking the 22-year-old and my wife wants to go fuck other people. It's a reaction. It's out of jealousy. It's not a natural desire.
But I mean, women can feel the same way about men. Absolutely. Like, why am I not enough for my man that he wants to step out and go fuck other women?
Yeah, well, that's not a natural. I want to do it just because.
Absolutely natural.
No. That goes down to just female stupidity, not understanding the male sexual strategy. Because, like, women know that guys want to fuck a bunch of girls, but every girl thinks that she's special, that she's going to be able to tame the wild horse, and he's going to be loyal to her. And my thing is that The reason why you're attracted to him in the first place was because he was the wild horse that has a bunch of women. So you think he's going to change for you? No, you're not that special because men always want variety. I think a girl is in a very strong and powerful position, actually, when she understands male nature, adapts to male nature, and pretty much puts herself in a position where she's like, okay, I get that you're going to do this. I know that you're going to want to do this. I'm going to encourage it. I'm going to allow it. It is what it is. You're my man. I love you. You love me. Because most girls, that's actually a secret weapon right there. Because most girls don't have, their hubris is so strong that they don't acknowledge that they're not that special.
Do you think that for the audience, I'm curious, do you think that even like 15% of the audience could be that type of guy that's juggling multiple women?
No. Okay. No, most guys can't pull it off. Most guys can't pull it off.
I can almost agree, but you got to be like that's got to be like a really high status thing to hit that point.
But let's be real, her. Most guys want to do it though.
Yeah.
See, I call it ego, right? Because for example, if a woman, right, is really into you, right, and let's say for example, she's upset because you want to sleep with other women, I get it, 100%. She's like, you know what? Why can't I do it too? However, if you're providing everything that she needs in that sense, why leave and go with somebody else?
Well, I mean, again, it would ideally, I think from her perspective, be the same for the man's perspective. Like, I don't know if they view like we're circling the drain. I don't want to go too back and forth, but I feel like the woman could ask the same question because I think oftentimes when a guy does cheat on a woman, like that is the thought, like, well, am I not enough? Now, I know you're saying that it's different from the male perspective or whatever, but I think that both ends can pursue
for women though, when they're cheating, it's emotional. It's like I want to get even.
It always has to be. It could be.
Most of the time it is, but like with a man, it's like they're just having sex.
It's exercise.
Like with men.
I mean, there's a lot of men that leave their wives for mistresses and shit too. Like it's not like that never happens.
But
like
that's true. That is a good point. But more than likely, the woman was bitchy. She wasn't having sex with him anymore. She was annoying. She was nagging him. Whatever it may be. It takes a lot for a guy to leave a woman. However, it does not take a lot for a woman to leave a man. They're far more likely to end the relationships, and we know this. Like women overwhelmingly initiate breakups.
We could argue on both spectrums, but let's be real here though. Who has a high divorce rate?
The divorce rate might be initiated by women more, but there could be reasons for that. Relationships might end before marriage if the guy's more likely to end it, possibly. I don't know where all the numbers fall on that. Like women might initiate, but like there are also
overwhelmingly initiate breakups.
Sure, for initiating divorces, sure, but there are so many dynamics at play. We're talking about different types of people. So, for instance, that thought of like women aren't as afraid of like their guy leaving them as the guy would be of the woman leaving them if they were sleeping around. I think that is.
Wait, say it one more time, just so I can follow.
Yeah, if a guy has his woman and she's sleeping around, he's afraid of her leaving him. But if he's sleeping around, she shouldn't be afraid of him leaving her.
I don't think he's afraid of her leaving him. It's more about like men have a very strong need to ensure that the child is there. So like that's why men are so disgusted by women that are promiscuous because like we got to go back in time, right? Like if we go back through history, like paternity test is something that's relatively new in the past couple of decades. So the only way guys were able to ensure that the child was theirs was they would marry a virgin. That's why virgins are so high value. It's because it's the only way that a guy can like know, okay, this kid is definitely mine and she didn't cheat on me. Yeah. So with guys, it's like
if a woman is looking at that biologically too, she's not going to want a guy that fucks around because a guy that's fucking around is going to be able to take care of 15, 20 kids.
But here's the thing. She knows that the kid is hers at least.
Yeah, but he's not going to have the resources to provide for a whole fucking village of children that he's fathered,
this is why, hold on. That's why hypergamy is so strong. Yeah. That's why women pick the best guys. Because she knows, like, it's since the beginning of time, like, the strongest men that have had the most resources always had harems of women because women understood my security overrides my emotions and my female hubris that I think I'm special. It's only in modern day times really that women think that they're equal to a man and they should have a high value man to themselves. Since forever, women have had the uncomfortable truth of understanding if I'm with a high value guy, there's a bunch of other women that are also going to want that security from that guy. I'm just going to have to acknowledge that I'm a part of this family. So with women, they're not going to fuck a guy unless he's a winner in the first place because pregnancy is a high investment for her.
Destiny.
Yeah, I understand real quick. I understand what you're saying from certain evolutionary strategies.
Yeah.
I just, in one sense, I don't always see it playing out that way today in terms of if we're talking for ultra high value men, right?
Sure.
This might be something that like top 2%, top 1% of men could do, where you're juggling essentially like a harem of women. I can agree with that.
Sure.
But there are so many other circumstances where if you're a woman and you've got a guy, like him stepping out is going to be the most frightful fucking experience of life. Maybe 30 years ago, maybe one guy could provide resources for a whole group of people, which I don't even think ever actually happened. You probably always have like groups of like men and women. It's not just going to be one guy that has all the kids, right? Otherwise, why would the other men be invested in even taking care of that
Well, no. I mean, that's how it's been. Like
one guy with like 19 women and all their kids. Like
historically speaking, like since the beginning of time, like one man is procreated for every 17 women. Yeah. So what does that mean? That tells you that like the women were concentrating on a very small minority of men. A small minority of men were having sex with the majority of the women because women are polygamous by nature and pick the best guys.
What's the evolutionary strategy for the men that stuck with the tribes?
They just didn't procreate.
Yeah, but then how are they not just like gone? Why wouldn't they just leave?
Because you strengthen the tribes. Like,
yeah,
you know
but from a genetic point of view, that's not a winning strategy.
It isn't, but like that's why the dominance hierarchies are. That's why men operate on hierarchies. Like there's always winners and losers. The top guys got all the girls, and then the other guys will turn into eunuchs or whatever it may be. And they like, okay, you can go ahead and go off on your own, bro. But we got the chicks here, and we're gonna go hunt without you. So you don't need women are valuable. Men are not. Men are expendable commodities. Like if you have a couple of guys, you can make some shit happen. But if you don't have a couple women, you guys are fucking dead. So I think that's why like the women are almost always protected in society. Even today's day and age, they say children and women first because they're the future of the generation. So with men, you only need a couple. One guy can impregnate 100 women, but if you have 100 men and one woman, we're fucked. You know.
Destiny, how would you feel? This is a hypothetical, right? Let's say your wife or your girl, right, went out, you know, had maybe like a sexual affair or whatever, and she got pregnant. She came home to you, right, and said, "Hey, babe, I'm pregnant." You think it's
raising
yours?
that kid?
You take care of the kid for like, let's say like 10, 15 years.
Wait, why the fuck would I do that with a paternity test?
Hold on. Yeah. I'm saying you believe her, right? Let's say you find out it's not your kid after like 10 years. What would you do? How would you feel?
I feel pretty dumb for not getting a paternity test.
That's what guys feel. If I know my girl's going to be out there doing
I don't think we make decisions like that right now. Like we have the ability to avoid pregnancies and to check like really what would happen if she came when she was pregnant is like we're flying to fucking California, we're getting an abortion. Like, that's what we're gonna do. That is what I get right now. That's the real thing of what's happening, right? But like I understand. I guess I feel like there's not an acknowledgement on the other side. Like I understand what you're saying here, and that there might be some reproductive strategy in the guy. But this is like I don't know why a woman would ever try to lock down a promiscuous male with children when that guy might meet a younger, hotter woman and just step the fuck out on you, and then he's gone. And now she's burdened with having to provide for that child because there's no guarantee she's getting child support. If they're not married, she's not getting alimony. If there's a prenup, she might be fucked, right? Not only is she now burdened with those children, you know, God bless them, that sounds mean, but she has to deal with that. Her future is fucked because being a single mom is now you're fucked on so many different dating markets compared to single dads are honestly have it better than a single mom who's like completely fucked. So like if we're just going by like what is like the best like reproductive strategy or whatever, I don't think a woman should ever be selecting for a promiscuous male. Like even if you could go for like that top 1% guy, I think you'd rather get like a top 40% guy that you know is not going to be sleeping around or cheating on you or looking to upgrade the second he can to another woman and then leave you high and dry with two kids and now you're 33 and 5.
Yeah, that sounds logical. That sounds great on paper.
No, that's not logical. That would just be biology.
But here's the thing: like their biology doesn't allow them to do that. Exactly. They always. The thing is that like even though on paper it's terrible for a woman to pick a promiscuous guy, and I agree with you, it's a very stupid thing to do. But the thing is that promiscuous guy that has all the girls is inherently attractive, and attraction is not a choice. Women respond very favorably to guys that can get other women, and they respond. Think about it. Fuckboys, assholes, dickheads, Dan Bilzerian, Hugh Hefner, Andrew Tate, as people want to say nowadays, his brother Tristan. These guys are all playboys. They have these misogynistic, toxic traits, but women love it. Why? Because it shows women are attracted to men that don't give a fuck about them. So I get what you're saying. They should select for the more average guy that's going to be loyal to ensure their security, but they don't.
Do you think there's a difference between sexual selection and relationship selection? Because I would agree that women will fuck with fuckboys, for sure. But like getting with them in a long-term relationship, unless it's like a rich guy.
If they can tie them down, they definitely will try
but how can you tie them down? It can't be with a kid. Guys step on kids all the time.
Well, okay, are we talking about today or are we talking about in the past?
Like today. Like, okay. I can understand a woman being attracted to a promiscuous guy because, I mean, if he is promiscuous, because he's already accomplished like a certain amount.
Yeah,
right. We agree with that.
For sure.
But to try to go after that guy just seems like such a bad reproductive strategy. Like, having sex with him, yes, but a relationship, unless he's already like really high status in some other way. Like you mentioned, like Hugh Hefner and stuff. These people might be fuckboys, but they're not just fuckboys. They're successful too, right? These people are wealthy people. They have some resources. I can understand like that attraction there. But I feel like I know girls that will look at a guy and be like, I would fuck that dude. No fucking way would I ever date that guy though. I wouldn't trust like a kid with that guy.
The thing is that they fuck that guy and then they hope for something more. They realize this guy's not going to commit. Okay, fuck it. And then what happens is they fuck those guys in their peak years, in their 20s, right? We call it riding the cock carousel, right? On this side of the internet. And then they hit their 30s, and then next thing you know, it's like, fuck, where'd all the good guys go? And then that's when they settle with a guy that might be a little less attractive. That's when they start to concede, depending on the girl's own value. Or they don't. They say, fuck it, I'm gonna stay single. So and then they end up not being satisfied anyway because the guy's a pussy. But the very things that create that security that she is attracted to are the very same things that makes her lose arousal for that man.
Do you think? Okay, so let's assume I'll grant you all of this, and I'll ask you a question on the other end. I'm kind of curious.
Sure.
So if I grant you all of that, do you think that when you're pushing for women that are not as, I'll say, masculine, that aren't going after careers, that aren't going after whatever, don't you think you're kind of pushing women into that territory where you want them to act like that? Because it seems like the only way that, like, how would you break a woman out of that, like, really baser, I just want to fuck the most fuckable guy and do that till I'm 30 or whatever? Like, it seems like the way that you would break somebody out of that is to encourage them to live a more, like, I'll say liberal lifestyle, liberalism with a capital L. Like, go after a career, do some shit. Like, don't just try to like fuck, the most attractive guys in your 20s, but like try to make something yourself.
Right.
Do you think that those women are more likely to make better decisions, or do you think they're going to be stuck in the same cock carousel as?
Are you talking about like the women that are empowered that go to school? And I mean, the thing is that that's the dream. That's the Sex and the City lifestyle that like kind of has been sold to women since like the 90s and since feminism really. So that sounds better. Like they tell them, hey, go to school, get your education, put off children, put off whatever. But what feminism doesn't tell women is that as they get older and earn more money, they actually decrease their chances of finding the very man that they're competing in the college universities for. So, I would tell a girl, your best bet is to cash your chips early when you're at your highest, value and get the best guy that you can get when you're still young and beautiful. But a lot of girls want to wait off and say, hey, I'm going to find my guy at 31, 32 after I have my law degree. Well, you've effectively handicapped yourself because what happened now is that you're older. You've probably had sex with more people. You've been through some relationships. You have some experience on you, and you have a degree which earns you a lot of money. Congratulations. You've turned into the man that you want to be. And quite frankly, now most guys don't qualify for you. So I would say if you want a fruitful relationship and get the best guy that you can get and have children, you want to get married and get a serious relationship going when you're still young and have the ability to attract that guy. But we tell women, no, put it off, put it off, put it off. And then they get to the end of the line and then, they end up on our podcast crying at 33 because they can't get a guy that they wanted.
Okay, I'll do this last time. I'll do the final word story because I know we're circling. It feels like if you set a woman up for that, if you tell a woman that like in your early 20s you need to find a guy who is the highest value you can get at early 20s, because that's the highest. I think the average dating age is like 24 female, 30 male. I think is like these are like consider your peak years, right?
Yes.
That if you aim for that and you go after a guy that's like that, then you're going after the type of guy that's always going to be looking for women like that. That like if you are advertising yourself at your peak reproductive years or whatever. Hopefully, when you start dating that guy, hopefully you can lock him down with a kid as soon as possible, which there's a whole host of relationship problems there that we don't have to get into. But like, hopefully you get that as soon as possible, within a year, I guess, of dating. But now you've selected for the exact type of man who's looking for that optimal reproductive age woman. And it feels like that strategy is always going to keep both ends like
fantastic point. That's why I tell women, if you want to be with a winner, understand that you have to share him. That's an uncomfortable truth that I tell women all the time is that if you're going to be with a winner, guess what? Every other girl wants that very guy, and there's not enough for them to go around. High value men or beautiful women are common. And I think that's an issue that a lot of modern day women have, where they think, we tell women all the time, they're special, they're beautiful, they deserve the best, etc. The reality is no. Beauty is common. Like, you guys are all the fucking same. You all believe in, spiritual signs and zodiac signs and a bunch of bullshit. And, quite frankly, like, a lot of women are a lot more similar than they think they are. And my thing is that you have a highly successful, ambitious guy. That's rare to come by. You're not going to have him to yourself. Get your fucking ego out the side. Understand that you need to be the number one chick, and the other girls are going to be side chicks. And you do that by adding value, having a kid with him, getting him to commit to you. And then, bam, now you have some insurance policies in place where he's going to be punished for leaving you.
Okay, gave you the last one because we'll just go back and forth. So
I mean, it's fine. I think it's a good discussion. I think we actually agreed on that a lot more than
there's a lot
say.
of like descriptive parts that I'll agree on, right? Like I know like the average like optimal attractive ages or whatever, like the 24 female, 30 for male. I guess I just get worried sometimes that when we send people down those roads, you're committing them to, in my opinion, what is kind of like an unsatisfactory life. That like ideally we are selecting each other for more than just like optimal male fucking achievement and optimal female fucking youth and beauty.
But that's the end goal.
I would hope.
That's the ultimate goal.
I don't think so. That's not the most fulfilling goal. That might be like in the most base or biological sense, like the way that we like kind of ooga booga relate to each other. But I think that we can push people a little bit more to like go after a little bit more in life in terms of like relationships, rather than like I'm trying to find like the tightest fucking 24-year-old pussy that will have my children as quickly as possible.
I'll give you this, Destiny. So what you mentioned, I would consider those auxiliary benefits, but the primary benefits are what you described: the youth and beauty versus the man's security and status. And then everything after that is like auxiliary. Like think of it as like extra credit, right? Like you still have to score. Like the woman still has to obviously reach an attraction standard. The man still has to reach like a success standard for them to even like be attracted to each other in the first place. Then from there, oh, she has a redeeming quality because she's she has this hobby that she's not the hottest. She's a 7. but she's really submissive. She's a good woman. I'll take this girl over a baddie. Does that make sense? Like those
I
auxiliaries can
agree
make
with you,
up-
but I would swap the auxiliary and primary, I guess. Like it'd be cool if she was like young and able to have kids and blah 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 blah. But like if I find like I guess the difference is that like if you and me were in the same spot and there was
Yeah.
like a 32-year-old woman that fit like everything that I would want in life,
Okay.
and then there was like a 24-year-old woman who's way fucking hotter, but she was like deficient in a lot of areas, but she's not like horrible, that it feels like somebody in your position, not you, but somebody in your position might opt for the 24-year-old and I would opt for the 32-year-old. I guess that's the difference. And
I mean, I guess it depends also on your goals. Are you like trying to find a family or something like that?
well,
or
like
you...
a partner to share my life with, not just like the optimal reproductive strategy.
I think
That
you
might
find
involve
more
kids, it might not, but
you find fulfillment more in relationships than we do for the most part. Like we can be happy without the long-term life commitment. My wife, it's easier to be happy without that. But you're looking for like a life commitment.
yeah, I mean, if I'm in a relationship,
sharing
I want it to
everything.
be somebody. But then I also, that's kind of like the
Well,
more like
but
looking at
he's
the girl
open too,
boss.
like he's doing
Sure.
both.
Yeah, I guess.
Word.
kinda,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, he's a man.
His
Like,
strategy is a little bit different.
yeah.
Yeah, and I acknowledge I don't recommend my lifestyle for anybody because there's a whole bunch of complications that arise from anything that involves more than two people. Even two people are really complicated.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I'm in a relationship, I want there to be some equal footing, and the auxiliary stuff is really important to me. But
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
I can
I-
understand the differences.
So the other thing too is that like most guys are not going to be okay with their girl being open.
Yeah, of
like, at
course.
all.
Bro. So
But I'd also say most women are not going to be okay with their man being open.
hold on.
He's got to be a winner
Yeah.
first. That's my requirement. The guy's got to be a winner.
But
to
if
do that.
you're gonna say that like, well, actually, if it's a top 1% man, that's fine. I would argue the same for the women too. If you're a random fucking schmuck and you're dating Beyonce, but she gets to fuck other guys, you're probably like, okay, fuck it. I
But
don't
she,
care.
she won't even date a regular guy. That's the point.
No, I know, but I'm saying that
Like-
I understand that wouldn't be the case, but they would be okay with it.
That's the
because
checks and
sure.
balances because a woman's not going to date a loser, but,
Sure, sure.
but a man will definitely date a loser that's a winner. That's what I'm trying to say.
A man will date a loser that's a winner. What do you
no,
mean by
no,
that?
I'm sorry. Like your example that you made, like Beyonce's with a guy that's like a winner. She's the top 1% in that eye. Like she wouldn't even look at that loser guy. Is what I'm trying to say. Like women only date a bare minimum across hierarchies or above. So like it's far more likely that the guy's going to be with a loser ass chick. Versus,
Well, it depends
versus a
on-
woman that's a winner with a loser. It's just
But
not gonna
I
happen.
don't think she's really a loser ass chick. I think that
As an example, I'm saying he'll date a girl that's like not 1%. Does that make sense?
no, I think he will date a 1% girl, but the percentages are different because I noticed something where people talk about like men dating up or down, but I think that when you rate women on a different scale, you're still dating up. So like, for instance, like I might date somebody that is like, oh, this girl, you know, she has no money. She's whatever, you know, nothing special, whatever. But she's a fucking 10. She's the hottest fucking girl in the world. And and I think some people analyze the situation like, oh, well, look, the guy's dating down, but it's because he's shot. Well, no, I'm not dating down at all. My equal, what I'm looking for, not me, but somebody in my situation, I'm looking for somebody that's really fucking hot. This is a top 1% girl because she's fucking hot, right? So I think when we talk about like dating up or down, I think you have to account for the different things
No,
that
I
people
agree.
are.
I
yeah.
agree. But what I'm saying is that like a really hot girl, a lot of the times is not going to be with a bum. Or if she
Sure.
is, it's going to be
But like
temporary.
a really accomplished man is not going to be with a homely average girl. It's going to be like, you don't see these guys that are 35 dating like average 35-year-olds. These top 1% men, right? They're going to be with like top 1% women, but they're top 1% in terms of looks.
Yeah, but I was just going off your example with Beyonce being with a loser.
Sure.
I was saying like a woman that's like that status level is not going to date down. But
Sure.
a man that's at that status level, like a Jay-Z will date a no-name chick, but Beyonce is not going to date a no-name man.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I don't know if that's true or not, but well, I don't know if I could ever begin to prove that.
dating no-name guy, bro. Come on.
You think somebody like Jay-Z's dating a no-name girl?
He's cheated on her with a bunch of random chicks.
Cheated is different. Fucked a girl is different than dated a
That's
girl.
what I'm saying, though. Like,
wait, I don't know what you're saying. Fucked a girl is different than dating a girl. I think a high guy will fuck anything, of course. But dating, I think he's going to be looking for somebody that's matching the class of like characteristics that he's looking for. Unless there's like a really special circumstance, like they knew each other since high school or some shit.
I mean,
there's top 1% men are not dating
J.
like
Cole
girls.
and Kendrick are married to average ass girls. We don't even know their names.
Yeah, but I would have to
Nicolas
know
Cage is married to a waitress. Like,
I would have to know the circumstances because sometimes this will pop up and it's like, oh, okay, well, damn, that's really crazy. How did that happen? Oh, they've known each other since high school. Oh, they were like family friends.
Leo
whatever,
dates
right?
a bunch of like no-name girls. Wait,
no, he dates young and hot fucking girls.
but they're nobodies.
But the young
They're
and
not
hot,
famous.
that's what he's valued. But he's not looking for me because remember the
But
fame
you're
part.
talking about career.
The fame part.
Yeah,
I'm
because
not-
you're
no,
using career with Beyonce. That's why we're.
Well, I'm sorry. When I point
We
out,
got confused on that
sure,
one. That's
I'm
what it
just
is.
thinking because men are valuing women for their looks here, and women are valuing men for their accomplishments
Yes,
here, right?
yes.
So a really, really hot woman is a top 1% woman. A really, really accomplished man is a top
Agreed,
1% man.
agreed.
And I think these are the hierarchies that people, right? Like it sounds mean to say, but like really unaccomplished men are going after not as hot women, right? They're like lower on the totem pole, but they're still like kind of matching. But a really, really accomplished man is not going after an unaccomplished woman. She is, but he's not after a really hot woman. And in that case, the hierarchies I think are generally matching. But
yeah, no, I agree. It's like different value that they bring to each other. I think we just got confused off the Beyonce thing.
Sure, okay.
That's where the confusion came from.
Gotcha. Never mind. Go to the next one.
Sorry, you were gonna say something?
Well, so I guess to make it a more understandable example, if you've got like a fugly kind of dude who's like fucking whatever, a normal dude, and he somehow manages like some top 1% insanely fucking hot girl, and she's like, I'll date you, dude, but like I get to fuck other guys. I think a lot of fugly guys should be like, you know what, fuck it, dude. As long as I get to fuck you, I don't care. I think there are guys that would go for that arrangement, especially guys that are fucking virgins or whatever. I think they would. It would suck a little bit, but it would suck a little bit in the same way that like that girl who has to let her husband be open because he's a top 1% male would kind of suck for her. I think they do it. I think they
guess what? The respect isn't there. And that makes for a doomed relationship, because if that happens in that dynamic, I get it. Yeah, he may love because he's lower value per se, but does she respect him? Probably not.
Maybe, but I mean, I don't want to go all the way up, but I would argue that there's a lack of respect to any one-ended open relationship. I would say the man doesn't respect the woman in that case, because you don't need to chase pussy your whole life. You know your relationship would be more stable if you could commit, and that if you're not both going to be open, it's just you. You know it would be more stable if you commit. You know there's less a risk of you running out. You know there's less a risk of you knocking somebody else up. So like if there's an equal amount of respect there from the man and the woman, the man should be able to commit to the woman.
In my experience, I think he's respecting her by being honest about what he wants.
Yeah.
But what does he want more? Does he want to chase pussy? Or does he want to build a strong relationship with a woman?
But let's be real though, right? Men want to fuck other women, so it's gonna happen regardless.
Yeah, but men want to shoot up heroin. Men want to drink and drive. You don't have to chase every single vice you have, right? Just giving the description that like men want to do a thing.
I mean, men have
that's not the justification.
That's their innate sexual strategy,
it's
like heroin and having sex.
It's gonna happen, bro.
Yeah,
heroin can feel pretty innate if you've done it a few times. I mean, like there are guys. There are people that go through their whole life and only fuck one woman, or there are people that get married and they don't step out on their wives. Like you should be able to control it.
But here's the thing: like most guys fuck only one girl or get into committed relationships because they don't really have a choice. If I left a guy to his own devices and told him, listen, you can have your main chick while simultaneously being able to fuck bad bitches without your girl getting mad at you, every guy's going to take the latter.
For sure.
So
that's always going to lead to more problems in the relationship.
Okay, let's flip it around. Flip it around. Now let's take a girl. Tell her, yo, you got your dream guy, but you can also go ahead and fuck a bunch of guys. That girl's going to say, no fucking thank you. I'm not a slut. That's the key.
Mm-hmm. Sure, but is that the biological reproductive strategy, or is she worried about the blowback from the relationship? If there truly were no consequences,
that's a reproductive strategy.
I don't know.
Women are not hardwired. Women are not hardwired to be promiscuous if they're with their guy. Most of the time, girls are promiscuous as a necessity because it's like, okay, this guy has money, so I gotta fuck with him to get because he has money. This guy's actually attractive and in good shape. I'm gonna fuck with him to get like my nut off. This guy is a really good talker and he connects with me emotionally, whatever. So a lot of times when girls have guys in rosters, each guy is completing some kind of compartmentalization in her sexual strategy. But ideally, she would like to get a guy that has all these components, only have sex with him. Now she's secured. Now she's secured and she accomplished her sexual strategy. Now ask her, do you want to fuck other dudes? She's going to say a resounding no because girls don't want to be hoes. But you ask the guy, he has a bad bitch. Yo, that girl gives you everything you need. You have kids with her. She's a fantastic mother. Do you want to fuck other girls? And it's not going to affect you. He's going to say yes. And that's the key difference.
Basically, you think men and women are equal.
I think in terms of sexual pursuing, I think that women tend to be a bit more emotionally connected to sex. But I think if you get like a really sexually liberalized woman, I think she wants to fuck.
But you want an equal relationship overall. You don't want to lead. You want to have an equal partner.
I mean, like, it's not going to be equal in all ends, but for the most part, I want somebody that feels more like a partner than like a servant to me.
That's where we disagree.
Sure, which is fair. But okay, interesting conversation.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. No, it was good. Definitely a good conversation. I'll hit these chats real quick because we got, the girls are here?
Yep.
Oh, shit. Okay. All right, we got Destiny. Isn't that a girl? These niggas, bro. Is that a girl's name? And then we got here, Maverick S, all the way from the Philippines, goes, Destiny, speaking about emotional balance, how you emotionally balance your open relationship as a good thing, I want to learn from you. Okay, $50 from Ed.
Just to reiterate, I don't recommend my relationship style for anybody. I wouldn't recommend any type of open relationship for anybody. No. Yeah, if you can find any, even the one-ended or whatever, if you could find a way to make it work, then more power to you. But like, it's so much additional drama juggling it. There's like a lot.
I think you have an X factor that like helps you significantly versus like a regular guy. You know, I think. I mean, we don't have to, because I think that's a whole other conversation. But I think like the bisexuality like gives you like an edge where you don't necessarily you don't have
ego attached.
Not even that's a component, but at the same time, it's like there isn't the same imperative to keep your woman in line because you can get satisfaction from a gender that is like way more sexually open, that is willing to give you what you need at a moment's notice, versus like for a heterosexual guy, like he's only going to deal with women. So like,
damn, okay, wait, hold on. First of all, I'm like 99% is women. Okay, it's very rare that
I get that.
1%'s bisexual.
Yeah, I'm very, especially with the fucking monkeypox shit. Okay, Jesus Christ, I'm not trying to get fucking lesions out here. Okay, I'm not trying to die out here. Jesus Christ.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not saying.
I understand what you're saying though. There are a lot of dynamics that make my relationship like I have access to a lot of people that because I have an influencer, you have all that shit. So yeah, I don't recommend it for anybody.
So you don't tickle the booty?
No, I don't do any of that kind of stuff. I'm not.
So why are you bisexual? So I feel like the left shit just got to you.
Because if I am gonna have a threesome with a guy, I want to be able to for all of us to do stuff instead of us just like being scared of like touching dicks with each other. We're gonna like fucking.
You don't penetrate.
For guys,
we don't have to.
Let's read the chat.
Fresh, why you?
Fresh.
The only reason I haven't said that was just to simply say that like it's different for him because he can get satisfaction from a party that is much easier to deal with. Does that make sense? Versus like as a guy, like when you're dealing with only girls, like you have to make sure you're masculine and you're dealing with her in a certain way because women are less forgiving of fuck ups in a relationship than another guy is, if that makes sense. Because women look to men for leadership and authority, right? So like if you're deficient in that, well, her respect for you starts to go down, and and after that respect goes down, arousal starts to go down alongside it. They're intrinsically tied. But like if you're attracted to, let's say, men, for example, well, men are easier to deal with. Like you can get on Grindr and do whatever you got to do, and it's done, right? Like okay, I got my sexual satisfaction. I don't need you, bitch. So that gives you how do I say this? It gives you a layer of security in your sexual strategy because like you don't necessarily have to deal with women. So I think that's why it's like a unique situation because it's like you don't need to depend on your girl for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of. Okay. That's a whole other
that's a whole other thing. All right, I may have opened up Pandora's box there.
That's all good.
Destiny, serious question. You talk with your wife about the sexual the sex she has with other men, and how do you feel about it, especially if she had a better experience with the other dude? Not trying to throw shade. And that's from
I mean, like we talk about all sorts of stuff. Like I'll talk about my experiences. Sometimes she talks about her experiences. Like sometimes we learn things from other people. Like we're pretty open sexually.
Fair enough. Damn. Alejandro Lopez. I can't disagree that most people can't handle true freedom because it brings anxiety or even for safety, but that is a passive person. A dominant or assertive person goes into the restaurant knowing what he wants. I'd argue it's the duality of the masculine and feminine. Okay. Shout out to you, my friend. Fresh BBC Fresh. There's only one way to save this man's life. You know what to do. Destiny, what is your girl's number? We have to blow her back out. That's the only way. And once he sees her in a wheelchair, he will be free. This nigga, bro.
Every single day.
Bro, come on, man.
Destiny, I'm going to change my name to Deezer and stream Snipe my way to Grandmasters. And that's from Neil Castelloni. Okay.
Yeah. Remember S?
Grandmaster. Oh, you play Overwatch?
Oh, fuck. That's a StarCraft reference. That's a really old reference to like 10 years ago in my stream, yeah.
Do you play Overwatch or no?
I used to a little bit, but not much.
Nerd. Okay, never mind. Let's give Sneeko and Destiny the last word.
Okay.
And then we're going to have some girls on, so we'll probably continue this conversation
on the show, and where can they find y'all? Let's start with Sneeko.
Sneeko.net, Creativity Kit is dropping August 22nd.
And shout out to you for bringing Destiny, man, because this was a great episode.
Yeah.
Destiny, any last...
He's like the smart Lasan.
Thanks. I don't know how I feel about that one, but YouTube.com/Destiny. Follow me there. Twitter.com/TheOmniLiberal. I should post there sometimes, but it's pretty edgy. So.
See, you know what's kind of funny? Because I watched a good amount of your content. People were like, oh, he's going to debate with you. You guys are going to argue. And I was like, guys, we actually agree on a lot of things because, I ain't going to lie, I studied you quite a bit. And I already knew, it wasn't going to be too many disagreements. Because as much you guys want to say is like a raging liberal, not really, man. I mean,
you're a fake liberal, bro.
It's more libertarian, if anything. You know what I mean? That's what I would say.
It's for the stream. It's for the audience.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Not true. If you want to jump into the most you'll get me on this red pill shit is going to be in probably the dating arena, because that's I think where progressives are the most fucking delusional. But if you want to get into politics or whatever, we can start talking Trump or Ukraine or anything. Yeah, I like guns. That's not the important. There are lots of liberal people like guns. No. Okay, listen, who commits most of the crime in the country? Okay. Okay, and they vote liberal. Okay, so fuck you. Okay? I'm just kidding.
I don't think they vote, but yeah.
True, okay. No, but seriously, no, if you want to do politics, yeah, we can do it.
what, Destiny, please?
No, I'm just fucking with you.
No, oh, you never have, okay.
Well, I said if you want to debate politics, we can go really far left. We talk about welfare and all that shit, but
Yeah, we
don't do
politics
that
is
here
not
on
our
Fresh
thing.
and Fit. Yeah, that's fine.
We typically we talk light politics.
We even
got that FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago. Some crazy shit. They pulled a lot of documents out of that fucking house.
They did pre-Trump. They did. We could probably talk about it a little bit.
No, I'm just kidding. We don't have to do that.
no,
I don't want your audience.
Let's
will
talk
fucking
about it
hate
with the
me.
girls.
I don't want
a Fed episode with Destiny.
I'm gonna do a Fed episode on it. So
Bring him in.
maybe we can actually, because I see both sides. I see both sides of what the FBI did there.
No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And today I'm in here with an eclectic mix of characters.
In a way, Andrew Tate might be marketing red pill stuff that I think is kind of okay, but people like Sneeko are the result of reading it the wrong way. And it would be really interesting to force them to both reconcile their differences of opinions, where it's like, okay, Tate, you say things like this, and people like me say that when you say stuff like that, people are going to take it like this. And now here's Sneeko that believes this thing because he's heard you say that. Like, hash it out.
People message me, go, I don't want to go to college. My parents want me to go to college. I say, well, have you sat down with your parents and explained to them what you're going to do with all those years instead? Have you sat there and said, look, I'm not going to go to college?
True! This obsession with not going to college, I say this to everybody that says this. If you have to ask, should I go to college? The answer is always yes.
I think a lot of the people are saying, oh, my parents are trying to suppress me. No, what your parents are trying to do is
Make sure
inspire
you're
you
not
to do
lazy.
something. You're
Yeah.
lazy. You ain't doing shit.
All right, welcome.
Yeah, we have to make sure we're live everywhere because you've done some technical wizardry. Myron's done some magic.
Wait, somebody told me at the end of all of this that Andrew Tate is actually American? Is that true? So he's got like a South African / British accent / lives in Eastern Europe / like, but he's actually American? Is that true or is it not? He's half? He's from Chicago? Where is he actually from? Where was he born? He's half American, half British. You don't get to be half and half. It's one or the other. He moved to the UK in middle school.
Magical things here. So we have to make
Man,
sure
it must be a really bright room for all these guys to be wearing sunglasses inside. What's happening?
we're live everywhere.
I'm trying.
Turn the lights down.
We're live on Rumble too. We're lit, man. Yeah, hey, that's what it's about. We made it happen somehow.
Shit. We did it, guys. We all work hard on this.
Yeah, sorry guys for being late. Since we added Sneeko to the panel, I had to go ahead and switch up the whole audio situation. So sorry for the delay. It's on me.
Welcome back, Andrew.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Good to be back. I look forward to the chat asking us some questions. They've got a big panel here. I've got some questions to ask you all. I thought, if I'm going to have my good friends here on the show, and let me ask them some difficult questions. You have to answer. You can't not answer.
Oh,
you
sure.
have to tell the truth.
What's the
and answer.
caveat if you don't answer?
God, what if he asks the question that I did? He's like, I saw you talk to this Destiny guy, and he said, how much money for you to suck a dick?
What's the
Would you rather?
Something kind of, but that's a bit high school, drinking gay. This is more just.
Okay.
Are you trying to say that we don't have to mature from time to time?
I don't know about you, bro, but me, I'm top G. I'm always, focused.
You want to tell us that story?
Home. He knew I wasn't coming home. He lost 10 G's
What
just
happened
for no
here?
reason.
Yeah,
Because we had fun. We're degenerate.
yeah, we're degenerate. We were drinking. We were running around, and 4 hours of things I am now. I couldn't even walk the streets like then, like I was back then. But yeah, I bet $10,000 for England to win, and of course, like they lost in penalties, like they always do. So it's never coming home. England is never coming home. I'm sorry. It's actually a shame when you talk about England because now the England side, I feel like all the good things about England are back.
Oh, shit.
Not to be like pessimistic and sad
Yeah.
on this extreme, but all the beautiful things about England and all the things about the royal family and tradition, etc., is all gone along with it.
You really sad about the Queen dying?
100%, bro.
You don't
think
think
the
kids and like fucking each other's cousins?
Oh
You
my
don't think-
God, bro.
you don't think the Queen
Oh
was an OG?
no, Sneeko's going off way more like on the conspiracy side, I think, than like where Tate is. That's gonna be my guess. I would actually, you know what I would love to do? I don't think I can do this. I don't think they would be up for it. I would fly to Romania for this. If I could do an interview with Sneeko and Andrew Tate and ask them both questions and make them talk to each other. Because I think in a way, now I am reading really hard into this and I don't know enough. I could be really wrong because I haven't watched enough of Andrew Tate's stuff. But in a way, Andrew Tate might be marketing red pill stuff that I think is kind of okay, but people like Sneeko are the result of reading it the wrong way. And it would be really interesting to force them to both reconcile their differences of opinions, where it's like, okay, Tate, you say things like this, and people like me say that when you say stuff like that, people are going to take it like this. And now here's Sneeko that believes this thing because he's heard you say that. Like, hash it out. That would be super interesting to see. Oh my God, it would be so crazy. Not even for like a ownage like debate, but it'd be really cool to see like their two perspectives clash.
Yo,
I guess.
I will say this: London was a great time, but I never want to live there, bro.
You know what? Maybe I'm naive. I know what Sneeko's saying, but maybe I'm naive. But I think that a lot of the true degeneracy that you see in the world is semi-modern, and I don't think that Queen Elizabeth, who was alive and driving trucks during World War II.
Yeah.
Bro,
Damn.
during World War II, she was driving trucks.
Insane.
She was in the army in World War II, and she's been through all this shit since the 30s. I don't think she didn't love her country, and I don't think that the world and the whole Commonwealth, because England was in charge of the Commonwealth, the whole Commonwealth wasn't unified behind her. And I think that the royal family's lost its prestige now she's died. Nobody gives a fuck. It's over. And the world we live in now, a lot of the problems with the world is because we're losing our traditions. And we're losing our older ways of thinking. And I'm not saying that the elites, you know what I think about the elites, you know what I think. And I know you can lump the royal family in there with them, I get it. But having a monarch for 70 or 80 years who was there during the war, and she's been there the whole time, and she was in charge of not just England, the entire Commonwealth, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, African countries, all this shit, India. She's a G. You can't say she's not a G. Queen Elizabeth II, she's a G. You can't say she's a G.
He said OG. Sneeko, this is your time to fight.
Definitely old.
She's an OG.
She's an OG, and now she's gone, and they're replacing her with this new guy. And I think a lot of the problems with the world today are all because of all the new think and the new things they're trying to replace things with. All the old traditional ways. We sit here and we all talk about masculinity. That's an old idea. And they're replacing it with a new idea. And what's the new idea? Trash. So when they get rid of the longest reigning monarch and they said they're going to replace it with fucking some new dude, to me that's bad news. That's my opinion. Right.
She probably ate some kids though.
Well, I don't know.
She ate one baby.
You think so?
If it happened, we wouldn't have no idea.
Diana, did she do it? Ooh. Should I be asking this question?
You can ask. I mean,
Do you think she did it?
did Queen Elizabeth?
She is a G.
She is a G. Sometimes the G, you got to get the talons out. I don't know. I don't know if she did it. All I know is that
I didn't even know this is a
think that
conspiracy theory. People think Queen Elizabeth killed
it's not
Princess
think, you
Diana.
correct my speech. I know that England at one point was the largest and most fearsome empire on the planet. I actually think that it was the best empire in the world, not just because it was the largest, because I think it was genuinely the best to live under. In modern worlds, everyone, when she died, all the liberals were celebrating, saying she's a colonist.
It's like the internet
If you
consensus.
lived under the
Oh
British
shit, I had no
Empire,
idea. Okay.
you had a semi-good life. They turned up and they built roads and schools and monuments and built a railroad. And everyone's complaining about the British Empire. If you lived under the Japanese Empire, it was worse. Because they just chopped your head off for being a fucking peasant. They didn't build shit. Like, fuck you. Give me that. Oh, and pull out the katana. So at least the British built shit. So the British did good for the entire world as a whole. The world back then was different. I'm not saying colonization is a good thing. I'm saying that back then it was just empires. You were a part of an empire, one of them. That's how it worked. And she was the head of the Commonwealth for a very long time, and I was genuinely upset when the Queen died. Maybe it's the patriot in me, but I thought the Queen was a G.
Don't you think the natives deserve to celebrate her death?
Why would they?
The Native Americans, anybody who's suffered from colonization.
Did they? Well, this is a really interesting question because you talk about suffering from colonization.
Or did they do
at
better?
A lot of the. Do you think India? Oh, let me ask you the question then. Do you think India suffered? Do you think India is in a worse place now than it would have been if it was never colonized by the British? Now, I'm not saying the British didn't kill people. I'm not saying they were completely fair, but also the world was a different place back then. Nowhere was fair. If the British didn't turn up to India in the 1800s, then the Indians would be killing the Indians. People just killed each other. That's how it worked, right? Do you think India would be in a better place today if it was never colonized by the British?
I mean, they're pooping in the streets right now.
What would they be doing if they didn't? The British didn't turn up. I mean, if you look at some of the biggest, best buildings in most of these countries, or some of the most critical infrastructure, it's the shit the British built 200 years ago to this day. And they had their liberation for a very long time, and they haven't managed to surpass the infrastructure the British built. You want to talk about why that is? I mean, I'm sure there's reasons, but my point is, the British turned up to a country. They ruled India with less than fucking 60,000 men. The Indians could have kicked their ass any time, but they turned up and they gave genuine value to the point people thought, okay, these white people turned up on this boat. They know shit. Oh, whoa, railroad. Well, okay. Whoa, schools. They didn't do it purely by force. India's a big place. They did it with a very small contingent, and they did it by adding value. And yeah, the British are not people you want to fuck with, but they definitely added value to their colonies. And I know this is going to upset the whole fucking world. All the people are going to say I'm a colonist. This is a pretty diverse panel. I don't know.
Jesus. Algoman, so next to $100. Seemed like you're working pretty hard on the content front recently. What is your channel? Looks like a media company. That's like in a back seat. I'll be able to talk more about stuff tomorrow. Okay?
Where I come in on the brown scale, but it's a pretty. It's a
I know
pretty,
where I come in.
It's a pretty diverse panel. But the world was a dangerous place back then, and I think being under the British Empire afforded these countries a lot of security and safety and technological advancements, and I don't think it was all completely a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Barbados, so like we were colonized as well. But you know, we got our independence as well. But Andrew, as a young man navigating the Matrix, where do you think somebody needs to live nowadays in terms of like place to live? What's the best location you think possible for a guy to live in these times?
That's a good question. That's a hard one for me to answer. But I think that should be the first question to the panel. So let's go through one by one. Let's change the question slightly. When you're deciding where you want to live on the planet, what are you looking for?
Depends on how much money you have. If you're American, Miami's the move, or Puerto Rico. But if you have more money, if you have top G money, then Croatia, I think sounds good. Albania, Romania, obviously. But most people can't answer that question.
But why?
Everything you say about Eastern Europe, about the traditional values, about the lack of feminist indoctrination, about the web.
No offense, and I don't mean any offense by this, of course. But I don't think super wealthy people want to go and live in Eastern Europe. No, like again, no offense, but like, what?
Weather is nice. Things are cheap. People are nice.
Girls are skinny.
Girls are skinny. We saw one, but there has not been one fat under 40 woman this whole time.
That's been the challenge of the whole week.
Trying to find one?
I challenge Myron and Steve at the end of the week to find a girl under 40 that is fat.
Yeah, it's not a societal norm here. It's not accepted in the same way. So societal norms have a large part to play on how we act as a whole, which you can extrapolate to everything, right? Societal norms.
Do these people know anybody in the Balkans? Okay, I could be wrong, but well, I'm not wrong. When Americans, and it feels like when British people, or at least like people in this world, when they talk about Eastern Europe, it feels like they're talking about maybe the Baltics and then like Romania and Poland, and that's it. That is Eastern Europe. I don't think the Balkans count. I don't think they mean that when they say Eastern Europe, but that's literally what it feels like. It feels like they're talking about Poland and Romania, and maybe they would have Ukraine before the war. Poland and Romania, and then like maybe the Baltics, nobody thinks about Germany. I don't think Germany counts as Eastern Europe, does it? Greece? Wait, I don't think Greece counts as like... Wait, hold on, I can't tell people are trolling me now. Wait, hold on, somebody just said, do you even know where Romania is? And I look it up and I'm like, wait, did I just fuck this up? No, yeah, wait, what? I don't know, China's trolling me right now. Baltics or Balkans? Baltics, right? The Baltics are Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, right? Or the Baltics. The Balkans are the whole southern Yugoslavia exploded Serbian shit that's all fucked. Maybe not anymore. I shouldn't say that right now. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure the Baltics are a decently nice place to be, right? I think those countries are doing pretty well. Nobody talks about them because they're small, but I think that those countries have generally made like quite a bit of progress. They've been pretty peaceful, I think, since 91, right? I think the Baltics have been decently peaceful and everything, and they've like made a lot of progress, like educationally, economically. Even Poland has to some extent, or they were making a lot of progress. I don't know about Romania at all. Ukraine obviously is in a fucking war. The Baltics aren't much better